I'm so confused. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea if I'm doing this correctly or not. I have no idea what I'm doing, guys. I'm so confused. This is literally so difficult. It's like it takes so much brain to figure out like how I'm doing this. I have finally finished my 2025 book blanket. Hello and welcome back to my channel. With the amount of books that I've read this year, I kind of feel okay with it. It's not anywhere near my goal. Right now I have 95 books and I only plan on reading one book that I'm in the middle of, which is the same book that I've been reading for so long. So I plan on finishing this book and I don't really plan on starting any other books before the new year. So we're probably just gonna have 96 books at the end of the year this year, and I'm okay with that. And instead of reading more books, what I really want to focus on today in the next few days is getting my book blanket finished. I don't know how long it's actually going to take for me to put all of my squares together. 95 books, so that's 95 book squares. But I also do want to have like a little 2025. I'm going to make a square of those, and then I also thought about making a divider square for each month. I haven't decided if I'm actually going to do that or not yet, but the last few days I've been working on trying to catch up on my squares. I think I only have like 3 or 4 books left that I haven't done yet, and I'll probably do those at some point. We'll see. But what I really want to do is I want to get my next set of squares in the blocking stage. I want to start blocking them, and then I want to start putting together the squares that I already have. And so that is what I'm going to do. I'm so excited for this. This is my first time actually like putting together a blanket in this way. I've never really worked with granny squares before, or really a lot of sewing in general with putting projects together. It's mostly just, you know, just doing the stitches until it grows and becomes big enough. And so we will see what happens. I am a little bit nervous about this. I am so scared I'm going to ruin my blanket. If you are looking for advice or expertise in this area, I am not who you are looking for because I have no idea what I'm doing. I am just making it work. I did watch one tutorial on how to block my squares, and so that is kind of what I'm going off of, but I still have no idea if I'm even doing it correctly. But these are the squares that we're currently blocking. These have been blocking for a very long time, which means they should be like really good. I have my iron going right now, which is how I'm going to steam my squares. I put it on the highest setting because that's what the video told me to do, and I just steam it. I don't actually like touch the squares with my iron. I also do have acrylic yarn that's like, you know, synthetic and probably not the best and probably won't work as good. Do your own research on that stuff because I really don't know about that. But I'm going to take these off of the blocking board and I'm going to put my new squares onto the blocking board. These are all of the squares that I have done so far, so I have a few stacks. They were in order, they now are not in order, so I'm going to have to re-go through those. These are the ones that I just finished. These should be like June, July. Here we go. We're going to take all of these off. Wow, look at that. Now they are like the perfect square instead of, as you can see with my other ones, they're kind of like wonky looking. I did leave all of the black tails on all of my squares, and some of them also have other yarns that I need to cut the ends off of at the end. I did already like weave them in. I just have to cut off the excess stuff. Hopefully I don't have to weave in all of these black strings. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to or not. We will see. Like I said, this is like an experiment for me too. I'm learning as I go, but I really don't want to weave all of these in, and I probably won't. So even if they need it, it's probably not a good thing. I don't know what I was just saying. I thought I would remember and then I didn't, so sorry about that. But I have my blocking board all ready for my next squares. This is the big stack that I just finished. So this is May, June, and July, I believe. I am going to show you as I steam these squares. I'm going to set them up so they're easier to work with maybe. This is my first time actually doing this way, and I think it might be easier, so we will see about that. Just going to line them all up. These should be like October, November, and December. blocked. I feel like I'm missing squares. I feel like there was a lot more that I hadn't blocked yet than just these ones. I could be mistaken, but I just feel like there's more. I'm going to go ahead and put these little things on top just to, I don't really know what these things do. I don't even know if the blocking process is necessary for this kind of project. I honestly have no idea, but I'm going to do it just in case. And I feel like it will make my life easier because they're going to be a little bit more uniformed. I know sometimes I use a different size hook, and so some of the squares are a little bit smaller. Even like all of my recent squares I used with a smaller hook because I couldn't find the actual hook that I used for all my other squares at the beginning of the year. And so it helps to stretch them out a little bit with this blocking board so that they all can be the same size, and so I can easily put them together. Okay, and here we go with the squares on top. We'll see if I actually have all my squares. Like, I'm not sure if all of these were blocked or not. Like, this one looks like it was not blocked, and I think this was like September, so maybe I should take these off and actually wait and make sure I have all of my squares before I do this. So we're going to now go through these squares, put them in order, and start sewing maybe. Let's see. Okay, I think I found all of my missing squares. I don't know how that happened, how I misplaced some of them, but I ended up finding them, and then I also got my new squares blocking, so all of the ones that have not been blocked yet are on the blocking board. As I create the rest of my squares from this year, I'll just continue to add them to the blocking board. If it doesn't get done for a few days, then I will take these ones off probably and then add more. I don't know, probably actually not. I really don't need them off the blocking board until I get to them whenever I'm putting all of my squares together. And I still have no idea how I'm going to format this blanket, like how many rows by how many rows. I don't know. I have no idea, and so I need to figure out my math. I was going to count all my squares to make sure because Goodreads is so finicky. I can't figure out. I thought I only had 95 books, and then I was looking at my challenge again and it was saying 99 books. So I'm really confused, so I'm just going to go ahead and count my squares. Anyway, what I am trying to say is that I'm going to go ahead and start putting it together. I just need to figure out how many squares by how many squares, and so I'm going to count all of the squares that I have and then make some kind of measurement based off of that. We will see how this goes. Like I said, this is my first time doing this, so I have no idea what I'm doing, but I am pretty excited about it. So I'm going to put these things on here that are giving me so much trouble, and then I will be back to talk to you in a bit. And there we go, all on the blocking board, ready to be blocked. So it looks like I'm gonna have like right around 100 squares. I have 19 currently on the blocking board, and then I have 72 squares out here. That is what we have so far. I think I'm just going to start crocheting 10 in each row for now. I have no idea how to put these together, so I'm going to go onto YouTube and watch some video tutorials on how to do this. Maybe I'll try to listen to an audiobook so I can get at least an audiobook finished before the new year. We'll see. Like, I wasn't really planning on reading more books than I already have this year. To be honest, I thought that was easy, but now I'm super confused because if I start from the bottom to the top, this is already the top of the blanket. So I don't know if I need to start from the bottom and then work my way up. But then is that going to mess up because I technically don't have my bottom yet? So I feel like I still can't even really do this because I don't have all of my squares made yet. I don't know. This is so confusing. maybe I can just go, I'm so confused. I have no idea what I'm doing. Maybe I'm going to find a different technique and see if that's easier. I know there's a method called the join as you go technique. I'm hoping I can do that. I'm going to see what that looks like and see if that's easier. That video seemed even more confusing and way too long, and so I think I'm just going to go with the first thing I saw because that does seem really easy. I just have to figure out how I want to do it, and I think how I'm going to do that is I'm actually going to start here and work my way up to here. Since these are definitely set in stone, I don't want to work my way from this bottom that hasn't been finished. I know you can't see me or what I'm talking about, but to work my way up this way doesn't really make as much sense because I don't have all of my squares from down here. So I'm going to work this way since these squares are set in stone. Basically, I'm going to start with these two squares, the last two squares from row 1 and row 2, and I'm going to join these together. Okay, I have been working on this whole time. It's been like 2 hours, I think. I also did take a little break and did some editing, and I'm now uploading my video that I'm posting today. But I realized that what I was doing was totally wrong because I was starting from the bottom and working my way up. But if I wanted it to be on the right side, it would have been like upside down, or the first row would have been the second row and the second row would have been the first row. So now I'm going to restart from the top to the bottom and see if that works better. This is a trial and error, and it is probably going to take me forever to actually figure out what I'm doing, but it will be worth it, I know, and I'm so excited to see the end result. I just wish I didn't have to make so many mistakes as I go, but I think this will be better. We'll see. So if I'm working on this, it's like it takes so much brain to figure out like how I'm doing this. So if I'm sewing the seam this way, see, it's confusing to me because if I'm sewing the seam this way, then as I continue, the next squares will go here. And these are supposed to be the first squares, so the squares need to go this way. But so I just need to sew it this way, I guess. And so I actually need to go like this to sew it. But then this is the top and this is the bottom, but this is supposed to be the top. So that's why I started with the other two squares, because this didn't seem like it was working, but that also wasn't working. So did I just do it wrong where I had the top and the bottom wrong? Like, I'm so confused right now and I don't know what to do. So like I'm going to join this and then it's going to be working up. And so the next square is going to go here and here. This is the top, this is the bottom. It doesn't make sense for me to use these squares. I guess I need to just retry with the bottom ones. I'm so confused. This is literally so difficult. Who knew this would be so hard? I will figure this out eventually, I think. Okay, I think maybe I just did it backwards, although it doesn't look like it because where the creases are, they're in the same exact place. So if it was backwards, then the creases would probably be the opposite way, I would think. So I have no idea. I am just going to give this a try. If it's the same exact thing, I don't know what to do. I guess maybe then I go for the other squares, and even though it doesn't make sense in my brain why it's not working, there must be some kind of formula on why it's supposed to work that way. I have no idea what I'm doing, guys. But we are going to make this work somehow, some way. I will figure this out. We are going to make a book blanket. This is going to have to work. I spent way too much time on these squares for it to get ruined by me sewing them together. Okay, I figured it out, so I must have been doing it wrong the first time, but I fixed my mistake. Thankfully, it was only 2 squares that I had joined at that point and was only starting my 3rd and 4th square, so I didn't have to undo a whole bunch of work. But I figured it out, and now I think it'll go a lot smoother, and I'm really excited and not as frustrated. I definitely feel like I can do it now. I just made a mistake the first time. I am am feeling so accomplished and so good about finally figuring out what I was doing wrong and figuring out how to do it correctly. So I have 10 squares together right now, so 5 from each row. I will have to go through and sew. I just feel like it's going to take so long for me to sew every single edge of these, but this method is actually pretty quick and very easy once I finally figured out like what order I'm supposed to put these squares in to get them all facing the right direction. So I am so excited about this blanket and putting it together now, and I'm listening to an audiobook. I'm listening to a historical fiction called Before We Were Yours, and I don't really know a whole lot about it, but it seems like a very sad book. I have been in just the biggest historical fiction mood lately, so I'm just going to continue listening to this book and putting together these squares until it's time to go to the church, which it probably will be timed soon, maybe like an hour left. So we're gonna see how many more of these I can get done in an hour. I'm not that confident that I'm going to get a whole lot done, but you never know. Alright, I have finished. It looks really crazy and it's kind of hard to actually see, but all of the first 2 rows are stitched together. So now I'm going to add the 3rd row to this 2nd row here, and I feel like that's probably a lot easier than this. I don't know if it really is or not. It's probably just as hard, but I'm excited anyway. I think it's going to look really cool, so I'm going to lay it out and see what it looks like, and I'll show you. It's basically time for me to leave though, so I won't be able to like actually work on it more until after I come back from the murder mystery. So I will see you guys in a little bit. I have no idea what I'm doing with this vlog, but I did want to show you my progress that I did yesterday. So I got 3 rows done of the book blanket. This is kind of what it looks like. It looks like a jumbled up mess, but here is like the start of the blanket, and then you can see like this is going to be row 1 and then row 2, and then this one starts row 3. So I have 3 rows completed so far. This is only rows going across. I also have to do all of the rows vertical. That will be a lot easier to do because all of the rows will already be together. I don't actually have to like try to get 2 little squares lined up together and sew them together, which is kind of difficult, and it was a lot of trial and error to get to this point, honestly. But now that I know what I'm doing, it has been so simple and I'm actually loving the process. I've also been listening to an audiobook that I'm really enjoying. It's called Before We Were Yours, and it's very interesting right now because I know absolutely nothing. I'm like still trying to figure out what's going on. It has like 2 timelines, and so I'm trying to put all the pieces together, and I'm not very good at doing that, so I have no idea really what's going on right now. But I am really enjoying it so far, and I'm really excited to continue reading it. Yeah, I'm listening to it, but you know what I mean. Hello again, and Happy New Year. I was low-key hoping to finish this blanket by the time we got to the new year, which really wasn't a realistic goal. So far, I have gotten 4 rows done now. I think I got 3 rows done right before I left, whatever day that was, 2 days ago I guess, or 3 days ago, whatever. And then today I've been working on my 4th and now my 5th row. I have 3 squares so far from the 5th row. I think I'm just going to work with what I have left that are not in the blocking process right now, and then I will take those out, and then I need to finish up making squares for the rest of my reads that I've done so far, and then also like make a 2025 square somehow. I got to figure all that out and really see how many squares I have left, and I can't really do that until I have all of my squares made. So that's what I'm going to focus on today, but first I'm going to join the rest of my squares before I worry about making new squares. I think that's what I'm going to do, and we'll see when this blanket actually gets done. It probably is going to take maybe even a whole month. I have no idea. I just feel like it's going to take a long time. This process is very fast, which I'm thankful for, but actually crocheting the squares takes so long. So that's what I'm really concerned about, is crocheting the squares, not putting them together, because that part's really easy. I've been able to do that really quick. It's the making of the new squares that I'm worried about, and I just haven't really had time to like sit and do that. I have finished putting together all of my squares for my book blanket, kind of. I finished doing all of the rows horizontally. Now I just have to go over the seams vertically. I feel like this is going to take a long time. I started doing this last night, and the one row that I did took so long. I think I figured out a better way to do it. I've like started it today and it seems to be going by a lot faster. But this is what it looks like so far. I'm really excited about it. It is a lot smaller than I thought it would be, which is kind of upsetting to me. At the beginning of the year, I thought I was going to read 120 books. I thought I would easily do 120 books plus more than that, since last year I read 111 books, I think. And I didn't actually start reading books until like May, I think. May or March. I think May though. And so I only had a few months really where I read 111 books. So I thought this year, since I would go from January to December, I would have a lot more reads. And so I set my goal at 120 and thought I would get even farther than that. And obviously I was very incorrect, because this year was not what I was expecting at all. I am a stay-at-home wife who does not have a job, and I just figured that's where I would continue to be my whole life until I finally have kids, and like that would keep me busy. And so I have so much time to read, but in April of last year, we started getting everything together to move. We knew we were going to move at the end of our lease. We had no idea what God really had planned for us in that move. Doing all the moving obviously was very time consuming, and I wasn't able to read a lot when I was in the process of moving. And then also since moving, it has just been so busy. The summer months were crazy busy, and then also after summer it was busy as well. And then you have like holidays and all of that. So it's just been really crazy and hectic, and I haven't gotten a lot of reading in this year, at least not as much as I thought I would. 95 books is still a lot, which is how many books I read this year, but definitely not as many as I thought. Since I was planning on reading so many books, I did make my squares a little bit smaller. I used a smaller sized hook, and I didn't do as many rounds with my granny squares because I knew it would be pretty massive. Since I didn't read as much, it's really not massive at all. It's not even the size of like a normal blanket. And that is a little bit disappointing, but I feel like this blanket is going to be more of a decor item anyway. It's just something that's going to be thrown over a chair or something. I loved having this project this year where there was something I was working on monthly that wasn't like, I don't know, just the random stuff. I start so many crochet projects and then never finish them, but this one I was determined to like work on every single month and finish it, because I couldn't wait till the end of the year when I get to see it all put together. And so I would definitely want to do something like that again this year, where I can have at the end of the year something that I have been working on all year and be so excited that I finally got it done. Right now I don't really need to focus on my 2026 blanket. I can worry about that later. Right now I just have to really focus on this blanket, and I honestly almost like not gave up on it, but like today I was thinking, oh, I really want to crochet. Like I should do a fun crochet challenge where I just crochet all week, and like I just think of a fun challenge to do that. And I'm like, well, I do need to crochet, but I need to focus on the project that I'm working on right now instead of trying to do other crochet projects, which I do eventually really want to work on a lot of crochet projects this year and do some fun content with it. I think that would be so much fun, and I want to start selling my crochet projects this year. So that's definitely things that I want to work on, but my main priority for like the beginning of this year needs to be to finish this blanket. And if I start doing other stuff, this is definitely going to get neglected. And so I just need to finish it. And so today I am going to really work hard on finishing this. I might listen to a few audiobooks. I haven't really watched a lot of TV in a while, honestly, since like before Christmas. And so maybe I'll like watch a movie or watch a new TV show or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Or even catch up on some booktube videos. Or right now, like I'm really into crocheting right now, so even watching some crochet videos on YouTube, maybe something like that. Okay guys, this is it. This is going to be the last day that I'm working on this blanket. I don't care how long it takes me. I am going to get this border done today and finish this blanket. It is now, let's see, my iPad's dead of course, and I don't know where my phone is. It is now January 17th, and so I really want to get this blanket done so that I can do a little photo shoot. It's finally like pretty and snowy outside. I've seen a lot of people who like do their book blankets like in the snow, and I just think that would be so pretty, so that's what I plan to do. But first I need to finish it. And it is a lot smaller than what I thought it was. I don't know how much I shared with you guys, but it is pretty small, like way smaller than I thought it was going to be. But I think it'll be a perfect like just over a chair blanket, and so that's what I plan to do with it. After I was done joining them all, I started cutting off all of the loose ends at the end. I already weaved in all my ends, so I didn't have to worry about that, except I didn't weave in my black ends, and I forgot about that and just started snipping them. And so a few of them kind of I feel like might come undone, or maybe have started to come undone, and that makes me a little nervous. But like I said, I'm not really going to be using this blanket that much. I'm just going to like have it draped over something and like have it as decoration. But I'm just going to go ahead and start my border. But first I need to pick the border that I want to do. This one, I don't know if you can see it good or not. I really like the way that this one looks on the edge, so I think I'm going to do this one and see what happens. I might add a few extra rows just so that my blanket can be a little bit bigger, because I just feel like, I mean, it is definitely big enough. Like it goes down past my knees. Actually, I don't know if I've shown you, so let me just like show you what it looks like so far. I can't tell if you can see that or not, but anyway, it is a little bit smaller than what I originally wanted it to be. Can you see it? I have no idea. Anyway, I might add an extra border, but I might not. I kind of like the size, especially, sorry, you couldn't see me. I actually kind of like the size, especially if you just hang it over your chair. Just like that, I have finally finished my 2025 book blanket. That took forever. I just finished taking like a little photo shoot, and honestly that was a fail. Trying to do that by myself just didn't work out. I'm going to try to get my husband to take some pictures of me whenever he gets home from work. It was so windy outside, and I couldn't tell like if you could actually see me. It just was so hard to do outside, so then I tried to move it inside and it still wasn't really working great. And so I'm just going to have to wait for my husband to take some pictures of me. So hopefully he's okay with that, and hopefully I'm able to get him to do that whenever he gets home. But I'm so glad my book blanket is finally done. I was actually so sad when I finished it. I was like, what? Like that's the end. I have worked so hard on this blanket. It has been so many hours. Each of these squares I crocheted in like an episode of Gilmore Girls, like 40 minutes. As I moved on, and like especially if I did like multiple in one sitting, I could get them done a little bit faster, like maybe 20 to 30 minutes instead of 40 minutes, but it still took forever. And then joining these squares was such was such a journey. It was a lot smoother once I finally figured out how to do it and like what I was doing wrong initially. Also so funny. So I hope that brought you some laughs, because like talking to myself, trying to figure it out and like doing the math in my head, honestly it was so funny to me. So hopefully you got some enjoyment out of that too. But I did finally figure it out, and we do finally have a book blanket. It's definitely not perfect. There's still some ends that like definitely need like sewn or cut. I just was too excited to like show you guys my finished product. I'm so excited. Like, it's so good, and I love that I added the year at the bottom. I just think that adds so much. It's so good. And now I need to decide like what my favorite squares are, and I think the way I'm going to do that is like pick a favorite from each month and then pick my absolute favorite square, which I think I already know which one it is. But there are so many pretty squares on here, and I do love it now that it's put together. As I was putting it together, I'm like, this doesn't look good. Like, I don't love all of the colors and how they're not very cohesive, and I just didn't love them. But now that it's all put together and like the border really ties it all together and really makes it look so good, I'm so in love. All that being said, I still do not think I will be making a 2026 book blanket, especially since I don't think I'm going to be reading a lot of books. And even this amount of books wasn't really big enough to make a blanket. I could make my squares bigger, but I just don't think my blankets are really going to get used, and they are like a lot bigger projects that I don't want to just have a ton of blankets and then have no purpose for them or nowhere to put them. Like, even this blanket right now doesn't really have a place. Eventually, I'm hoping to get a chair to put in this corner, and it'll be like my reading nook over here. Eventually this will be thrown over a chair. But yeah, I am so proud of myself for actually sticking through with this blanket. I was not sure that I would, and it has really been a journey. At this time, I'm going to talk about the book blanket and explain it. So first of all, I feel like a book blanket is different for every single person, but for me, what I'm doing, I'm making one granny square per book that I read this year, and I am trying to match the colors of the square to the cover as best as I can. So I do have some other videos where I kind of talk about it, and I'll try to have them linked where you can watch them. But basically, I just try to find colors that are in the cover and match them to the granny square. Sometimes I get even more creative than that and try to like pattern it in the way that the book is. I have seen people even do like custom granny squares to make it really look like the book. I did not do that this year because I was super new to granny squares and didn't even know how to make a regular granny square. This year I definitely wanted to take it small. Speaking of trying to simplify it, with my squares I did do like more of a micro square. I used a smaller hook size and only did, I think, 4 rows or 5 rows. And even though I didn't read as many books as I thought I would, I'm still very glad that I took this approach, just because I really love the way that it looks. And I think bigger squares would have just looked too big, and I just love the way that the little squares look. I originally saw the idea to do a book blanket, I think on Facebook, or at least there is a Facebook group dedicated to making book blankets, and so I joined that group and got to see other people's 2024 blankets that they had made to get inspiration for my 2025 blanket. And then also people were sharing their squares as we went going into the new year. And so if you'd like to join that group, I'm going to have it in the description below, because it has been so fun to see other people's squares and other people's blankets. I think it is so cool to have my two favorite hobbies combined together and to have all of my 2025 reads in one spot, and I can't wait to show it off to everybody. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy the idea of a book blanket, and like I definitely say do it, like at least try one time maybe to do this book blanket. And I also do have another book blanket that I made. I have a whole video where I crocheted book blankets and I show you some of the progress of this blanket as I was making it. But then I also like finish up my 2024 book blanket that I didn't make until the end of 2024, and that one was a lot different and a lot easier to make, but it also has its mistakes. And so maybe eventually I'll make another book blanket, something to go cohesive with my books. But this year, 2026, I plan on doing something different, and I'm so excited. I haven't actually like 100% committed to this yet because I haven't actually started it. But I think what I'm going to do for 2026 is I'm going to make a book snake. I've seen people do like temperature snakes, and I think I've even seen people do book snakes. And so I'm so excited. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a color for each genre of a book, and then I think I'm going to make a row of that color for the genre for each book I complete. I haven't decided if I'm going to do like different numbers for different star ratings, like if I do 3 rows for 3 stars. I haven't decided if I'm going to do that yet or not, but it took a lot of like thinking to decide what to do for 2026. I just was going back and forth in my mind thinking of what I wanted to do, and finally I decided I'm just not going to do a blanket. I'm just going to do a snake, because I think that's another thing that'll look really cool, like in a book nook or in a book room or whatever, or like on your bookshelf or something. I think it'd look really cool as a decoration, even if it doesn't get much use out of it. And then I'm thinking like in a few years or whatever, like down the road somewhere, I might make a book cardigan, because I've seen people who have done that as well, and I think that's really cool. So we'll see. I'm really excited. I love this little journey, and I don't think I'm going to stop making crochet projects to reflect on my reading, because those are my two favorite hobbies and I love bringing them together in this way. So I definitely don't think I'll stop anytime soon. Anyway, I feel like I've just talked your ear off, so if you're still here, first of all, thank you and I love you. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in my next video. Let me know if you plan on doing a book blanket this year, or if you have done it in the past, and comment below any ideas for like other projects that I should try, or any fun book related or crochet related YouTube videos. If you have any, please let me know in the comments, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!